Your kid just told you they brushed their teeth, but their toothbrush is so dry, it might actually qualify as a desert ecosystem. The toothpaste cap is still factory tight. Their molars are out here forming a tiny plaque village with a mayor and a functioning economy. Here's the part that blindsides most parents. They're not lying to avoid trouble. They're lying because their brain thinks every question is a threat. Let's untangle this. Just bookmark this thought as we keep going. Sometimes a kid lies so fast, it's basically automatic. And there's a reason for that. You'll understand why by the end. And once you do, the whole behavior looks completely different. Chapter 1. Understanding the Lying Brain. First, breathe. Your child isn't a sociopath. They're not grooming themselves for a future in tax fraud. Their brain's doing something completely different than adult lying, and way more chaotic. MIT's developmental neuroscience shows that kids who lie habitually have an overactive threat detection system. To them, every normal parent question feels like a mini emergency. Did you feed the fish? Their brain, red alert, interrogation detected, deploy lie immediately. Them, yes, the fish, floating like it saw the light 3 hours ago. This isn't strategy. This isn't manipulation. This is their nervous system choosing survival mode before their logic brain even clocks into work. You asked them a question. Their brain screamed, danger! The lie launched itself out of their mouth like a fire alarm. Fast, loud, and completely unnecessary. And here's how it becomes habitual. Lying turns into their default stress reflex. Some kids chew their sleeves. Some twirl their hair. Your kid auto-lies. It happens so fast they haven't even processed the actual question yet. Their lie isn't about the fish, or the teeth, or the homework. It's about calming a brain that thinks honesty equals risk. Chapter 2. The shame spiral that makes it worse. Every time you catch your kid lying, they don't think, yes, time to grow morally. They think, oh no, I'm a bad person. And that feeling, shame, is rocket fuel for even more lying. Stanford research shows shame increases lying by 70% because kids don't lie to avoid consequences. They lie to avoid the feeling of being bad. Shame turns lying into a psychological Chinese finger trap. The harder they try to escape, the more they get stuck. Your kid eats a cookie. You walk in. They're standing there with crumbs on their face, like a tiny burglar who robbed a bakery with zero exit plan. You ask, did you eat the cookie? Their brain, initiate damage control. Them, no. You look disappointed. Now they feel shame. Shame hits kids like a Windows error message. Loud, unexpected, zero helpful instructions. Next time, they won't lie less. They'll just lie better. More elaborate stories, more detail, more Oscar-worthy performances. They're not learning honesty. They're learning stealth. And here's the heartbreaking twist parents don't see coming. Shame doesn't just make them lie about bad stuff. It makes them lie about good stuff, too. Did you have fun? No. They did, but their joy feels dangerous now because truth has become a place where disappointment lives. Shame doesn't fix lying. Shame manufactures it. Your kid isn't avoiding the truth. They're avoiding the feeling of being unworthy. Chapter 3. When anxiety wears a lying mask. A lot of habitual liars aren't liars at all. They're anxious kids whose fear dresses up as fiction. They're not manipulating you. They're trying to survive their own brain. Yale's research shows 60% of kids who lie repeatedly have underlying anxiety. To them, truth isn't neutral. Truth feels like a test they're about to fail. Their brain turns your question into a boss battle they weren't trained for. You say, did you do your homework? They hear, are you still a good kid? Do I still like you? Their anxiety screams, say yes or you'll be rejected. So they say, yes, even if the homework is still sitting in their bag, untouched, fermenting. And here's the part parents never see. These kids lie about stuff they actually did right. homework they finished, tests they passed, friends they actually have. Because their anxiety whispers, "The truth is never good enough. Make it safer." They lie preemptively. Before anything even happens, normal days become dramatic stories because reality feels too disappointing. Small problems become disasters because anxiety always expects catastrophe. These aren't lies meant to deceive you. They're lies meant to protect themselves from fear, from judgment, from not feeling enough. Quick sticko favor, if you're learning more about your kid in this video than in the last 3 years, hit subscribe so we can survive this parenting maze together. Already subscribed? Thank you, from Sticko. Chapter 4, The Perfectionism Connection. Some of the most convincing kid liars aren't rebellious. They're perfectionists. They're not lying to dodge trouble. They're lying because the truth doesn't match the impossible version of themselves they're trying to maintain. Northwestern's research shows perfectionistic kids often develop self-image lies, not to deceive you, but to protect the identity they think they must live up to. Your straight A kid gets a B+. Not a bad grade, not a crisis, but to them, it feels like a personal collapse. So they look you right in the eyes as you hold the report card and calmly insist it was an A. Not because they think you're clueless, but because admitting a B+ feels like they're admitting they're not enough. And the everyday stuff? Forget it. Perfectionists turn tiny mistakes into full cinematic universes. Spilled milk? The cat did it. Forgot their book? Someone stole it from my bag. Drop a pencil? There was an earthquake? Normal human errors become elaborate conspiracy theories. Because in a perfectionist brain, mistakes aren't allowed to exist. These kids aren't avoiding consequences. They're avoiding imperfection. And perfection always demands a lie. Perfectionist kids don't bend the truth. They iron it. And remember, every type of liar has a different cause. But there's one more category of lying that shocks most parents. And we're building toward it. Chapter 5. When lying is actually about connection. Not every kid lies to hide something. Some lie because they want to feel seen. These are the storytellers, the improvisers, the kids who turn "I went to school" into "I fought a dragon during maths and saved the entire class." They're not manipulating you. They're trying to make their life interesting enough for someone to care. Here's the psychology most parents miss. Kids who feel overlooked often learn that fiction gets attention while honesty gets, yeah, that's nice, sweetie. So they evolve into little screenwriters, tiny Netflix original series creators, full-time exaggeration specialists. Because being dramatic feels safer than being ignored. But here's the fix, and it works like magic. Give attention to the truth, not the performance. Ask specific, oddly targeted questions about their real life. Who'd you sit next to at lunch? What color were your teacher's shoes today? What was the weirdest thing that happened in class? When you show interest in the real, they no longer need to decorate their day with dragons. Then, flip the script completely. Ask them to tell you the most boring part of their day in extreme, unnecessary, Oscar-level detail. Suddenly, we lined up for PE becomes a 3-minute epic, and boring becomes bonding because the truth feels worth telling when someone actually cares enough to listen. Because some kids don't lie for emotional reasons at all. Their brain wiring is literally different. And if everything so far still doesn't explain your kid's lying, the next part will. But before we talk about brain wiring, you need the one method that actually stops the lying. Chapter 6, Breaking the Lying Cycle, the only method that actually works. Here's the hard truth. You cannot punish a kid out of lying. All punishment does is upgrade their lying software. So, you need a completely different strategy. One that removes the reason they lie in the first place. 1. Remove the interrogation energy. Stop giving them yes-no questions they can panic lie through. Not, did you brush your teeth? Instead, come on, let's go do teeth together. You're eliminating the moment where their brain chooses fight, flight, or fiction. You basically unplug the lie generator before it boots up. 2. Make truth-telling ridiculously safe. This one line rewires their brain. If you tell me the truth, even if it's bad, we fix it together. Not, if you lie, you're in trouble. But if you lie, we still have to fix it. It just becomes harder. Truth stops feeling dangerous. Columbia behavior research is brutal. Removing shame, not consequences, cuts lying by 80% in 6 weeks. 3. Your first reaction makes or breaks everything. When they finally confess something big, you say, thank you for telling me. Now, let's fix it together. That one sentence does more than any grounding, lecture, or threat. Why? Because it teaches their nervous system truth equals safety, lie equals stress. Chapter 7, The Truth Practice Program, Rewiring Their Honesty Instinct. If lying has become their default setting, you can't jump straight to tell me everything. You start on easy mode, like teaching honesty with training wheels. 1. Begin with tiny, zero-risk truths. Ask for something so small they can't panic lie. Tell me one true thing about your day. Not the emotional stuff, not the complicated stuff, just one truth. I saw a dog. I had crackers. My pencil broke. You're teaching their brain, see, truth didn't explode anything. 2. Celebrate boring honesty like it's breaking news. If they say, I don't like this dinner, don't gasp dramatically like you've been stabbed. Try, thanks for telling me. What should we cook tomorrow? They learn that truth isn't conflict. Truth is collaboration. 3. Use truth rewards, not bribes. Not, if you tell me the truth, you get a cookie. Instead, since you told me you broke the lamp, help me choose the new one. Not a transaction. A connection moment tied to honesty. 4. Rewire their brain for honesty. Harvard's truth tolerance research is clear. Kids who practice low-stakes honesty build the neural pathways for high-stakes honesty later. You're not fixing lying with lectures. You're literally rewiring their brain's default setting from lie fast to stay safe to tell the truth because it's safe here. But none of this explains the kids who lie constantly. The ones whose lies fire before the thought even forms. And that's where things get neurological. Chapter 8, When Lying is Actually Neurology, Not Naughty Behavior. Sometimes habitual lying isn't behavior at all. It's brain wiring. Some kids aren't choosing to lie. Their brains process truth, time, rules, and questions differently from ours. 1. ADHD, the impulse lie. ADHD lies aren't planned. They're impulse reflexes. The truth hadn't even loaded yet, and that lie has already left the station. You ask, did you finish your homework? Their mouth, yes. Their brain, 0.4 seconds later, wait, did we? They're often just as surprised by the lie as you are. 2. Autism, the literal lie. Autistic kids don't lie. They answer based on literal interpretation, not intention. Did you clean your room? Yup, because they picked up one sock, which technically counts as cleaning. They're not being deceitful. They're being accurate, just by a different definition. 3. Other neurodivergences, truth processing differences. Some kids blend imagination and reality when anxious. Some mask their struggles by smoothing the truth. Some say what keeps the interaction calm, not what's factual. None of it is manipulation. It's coping. 4. When to consider an evaluation. If the lying happens instantly, doesn't improve with your new connection-based approach, or seems disconnected from actual intent. It may be worth a gentle evaluation. Not to pathologize, not to punish, not to catch anything, but to understand how their brain works, so you can support the actual cause, not the surface behavior. Because sometimes the lie isn't the problem. It's the brain way of saying, I'm doing my best with the wiring I got. The long game truth. You won't fix habitual lying overnight. Your job isn't perfection. It's proving truth is safe. Make honesty easier than lying. Remove shame. Add connection. Bit by bit, the walls come down. And one day they'll tell you the hard truth instead of the easy lie, because you made honesty feel safer than fiction. That's the moment the lying starts to die. Keep going. Keep showing. They'll believe you eventually. And yes, even when the toothbrush is still bone dry.